They call him Seatin, the man of legends.
Ladies and gents, welcome to the world first solo of Akylios. That is right, Akylios, the 20-man Hammer boss from sort of the original classic Rift. I have wanted to solo this boss for so long, and with the launch of Storm Legion last year, I was very upset that I couldn't do it then because the DPS requirement wasn't high enough. But with the upcoming launch of Nightmare Tide, I managed to log on to Nightmare Tide, get some of sort of the endgame gear on the beta, and finally solo Akylios. I finally had the damage requirements to sort of meet the various enrage timers and DPS checks throughout the fight, and do it fairly easily. It took me about 10 attempts just because there was various stuff that I was trying to figure out with the timing, and also failed to devour a couple of times. And it really was a bit of a challenge just trying to get all the timing perfected and figuring out exactly when I needed to burst my DPS to do exactly what. Like in phase 1, for example, you'll see me completely ignore all of the ads until I get Janaru down. That is because if I got 2 sets of ads, then I would be pretty much completely fucked. So I needed to burst Janaru down before the second set of ads, and that required about 50k plus DPS on the boss, which even in, level 65 gear isn't really that much of an easy task. It does require a fairly perfect rotation and also RNG to not be a massive bitch with sort of the mana pinches stunning you. But luckily I managed to do that. Now, in this phase, the kind of aim of the game is to get the stingers down as fast as possible and progress on to the next phase. However, I didn't get the tentacles down fast enough, as you'll see, so I get a second wave of ads. But luckily, I'm kind of doing a bit of DPS on the other Apostle, so he's gradually going down, so by the time the other one spawns, this one's practically dead, I can knock him off, and then I don't have too much of a trouble with, like, dealing with 2 Apostles at once. And that is what really saved my ass in this kill attempt. So you'll see this kill is actually fairly sped up as well. The actual kill time in total was just short of 15 minutes. So all in all, it was still a fairly lengthy encounter, but it was so much fun to do. And I recommend, when Nightmare Tide goes live, I'm going to be doing this on live, and I recommend just everyone else try doing it on live, because it's so much fun. I also managed to solo a ton of other Hammer bosses, which I'll be uploading the kill videos for. Most of them were actually pretty easy, apart from Gruganim, who is a bit of a challenge. I haven't done Sikaron or Estrode yet, but I imagine both of those will definitely have some interesting mechanics. So you'll see, I've got quite a few ads being on me. I want to get that second Apostle down before Akylios spawns, or else he will essentially become infused with, like, the power of water, and then just hit flying double, and it's just really annoying. I believe he also gets his health fully healed, so that's why I'm trying to, focus as much DPS as I can on him, just to get him down before Akylios spawns. So as you'll see, I also have to deal with a Lasher and 2 Stingers, kind of every 30 to 40 seconds as well in this phase. So that's a bit of a pain, but luckily the Stingers are really easy to get down. Now, one Scourge can get them down if you're lucky, but if you're unlucky, you'll leave them on about under 10k health. So I believe the majority of Scourge needs to crit if you want to get a Stinger down in one Scourge. So you'll see me often just both Scourging and Vexing the ads. This is the point where I've downed the Apostle, I've got a variety of mini ads left, so as you can see I'm just cleaving them down using Soul Drain and Circle of Oblivion at the moment, while ensuring that I am in melee range of Akylios all the time. You'll notice I do actually get hit by quite a few breaths in this video, because if I go out at all, then what happens is I will instantly get devoured. So if I leave melee range, I will get devoured, and kind of the safe zone from the breaths is really on that line between melee and range. So, like, my main problem really was dying to devour, like, during progression on this, so that was a bit of a pain in the ass. So I just decided, the wave doesn't hit that hard. Unenraged, it's like 1k per tick, and when he becomes enraged, it's like 2.5k per tick, so I can certainly handle it. Now, this part was pretty easy. It's a bit of a breather. Akylios is going down. I don't have Janaru up at the moment. I just clear out the Stingers with a couple of dots. I have a lot of time to wait and sort of check out the scenery. You know, just waiting for yet again more stingers to spawn. The Orb of Suffocation, I thought this mechanic was going to be problematic. It's really not too bad. I believe on me it only hits for about sort of 4 to 5k, but the silence is pretty annoying because that does last for about 4 to 5 seconds. So that is a bit of a disruption to like your DPS. You know, that's just something that you kind of have to put up with because there's no real way to avoid it. Get those stingers down, and then I want to get back in position. I want to be ranged, in melee range of Akylios when he comes back up, because if I'm not in melee range, he's going to pull me in, devour me, one-shot me, GG, and that is my adventure over. So he's rearing his head backward again, another breath. What you'll see me also doing is I try to target the stingers and then determine their location on the minimap. I make a little macro to target the stingers, otherwise they do kind of spam heal Akylios for quite a bit, which is pretty damn annoying, because every tick is like 300k and they'll do a tick like once every 10 seconds, so I kind of do need to keep DPS up on those stingers or he will heal for quite a bit. So it's a lot more beneficial for me to try and keep tabs on the stingers and, you know, throw a bit of DPS on them. So now Gennaro has entered the game. During Akylios phases, there are pretty much... you know, I'm just completely ignoring Gennaro because he's pretty damn useless in these phases. It's a lot more beneficial DPS-wise for me to focus on both Akylios and the stingers because I have plenty of time in this phase to nuke his health down. As you can see, just clearing out the stingers here, they just spawn very erratically, and the wave mechanic has come in. Now, if the wave mechanic was originally what it was, which it knocked people back, I probably would have failed this attempt because you will notice me derp a few times and get hit by the waves, because as pretty much any tank progressing on Akylios can vouch for, waves are just stupidly hard to dodge while you are tanking Akylios, because you're never too sure. If you slightly step out of melee range, boom, one shot, you're devoured. You have to lose like 12 minutes of progression. But luckily, the waves only stun now, so they're really, really easy to deal with, even if you do like screw up on them, like I just did there. Akylios comes back up again, and he is on a fairly decent percentage now. So what I do now is, you know, I continue to nuke him. I know I don't want to get him down to sort of the lower phase yet, because essentially once I push him past that 15% threshold, I need to burn the boss, like a load, before all the stingers spawn and heal him up, because that's kind of the rage timer. And you'll see at the end I do have a bit of a problem. You know, I get Gennaro down and then the boss is just spam healing himself. But this phase is starting to hot up, really in terms of like where I need to manage my DPS, in terms of damage taken. Like, this phase deals absolutely nothing. It's just not even a problem. I mean, the main problems with damage taken are by the ads in the initial phases. Like, they hit so damn hard. So I'd say this fight, like mastering it for solo purposes, is all about managing your DPS on various targets. It's all about, you know, making sure all the stingers are dying, and that in those first phases you can zerg down Gennaro and the Lashers to get Akylios to, you know, his actual phase that we're in now pretty damn fast, because it does rely quite heavily on that. As you can see, I'm throwing quite a bit of DPS on Gennaro now, just, you know, getting him ready to kill him in the last phase. As soon as Akylios has dropped to sort of something like 3-4%, I want to quickly pop Gennaro off and then just go all out, full burn on the boss, just burn him like crazy. So I believe I'm preparing to do that now. You can see Gennaro is very, very low. I dubbed a bit there and got hit by a wave, but, you know, it's not really too much of a problem. That 2-second stun is nothing but annoying. So yeah, Akylios is sub 25% now and just absolutely burning him. Backward head rear, I'm just eating the damage at this point because it's not even an issue. I just want to get everything I can on the boss. A very, very nice soul stream there with a 71k crit. I am absolutely loving this 65 damage. It's pretty damn awesome. So again, backward head rear, I think I try to avoid that just to make me seem pro in the video, get hit by a wave. Gennaro is still smacking at me, but the boss is just getting lower and lower. So now he's kind of at the percentage where I'm like, okay, I need to focus my attention to Jinnaru for a few dots on him, a couple of bolts of retribution, and he is pretty much going down. So he's gone down. Akylios has him raged, right? I should be able to easily pop him off, but if you look closely, he is getting fucking spam healed by Alasha. So at this point, I'm like, shit, he's getting healed so much, because I literally get him on the brink of death so many times. But luckily, my OP Cleric Inquisitor DPS finally manages to come together, and boom, ladies and gentlemen, world first solo Akylios. Granted, it's not on live yet, but I'm still bloody impressed with that, and you can't take that away from me. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Take care and have a great day.